Alright, really late. I really shouldn't do this, but I mean, I saw Conference Report did a video. This LudditeReturns guy has returned, and it's just awful. I mean, I saw a minute of it. I saw Fred's video applauding this. It's like, oh, thank you for this contribution. And it's just friggin' hilarious. I mean, I really should, I should get the bottle of champagne, right? Because we have one. Yeah, I should do it, really. Yeah, I should. I won't do it, but I should do it. Because yeah, we won. I'll wait till later. Yeah. So it's really late. I'll hit the play button.
Existence is the condition in which impositions are concretized. Absent said condition, I fail to see the existence of an imposition. Retrospectively, as we have seen a few...
Unfortunately, my mouse button isn't working too good. Anyway, I'll use the space bar. That'll fix it. Anyway, you're not going to understand anything this guy says, right? This is just all bullshit. Imposition can't be concretized. What the fuck? I mean, come on. All right, so the argument... Well, I'll let him say some more. I mean, but really, this is their argument, okay? Creating life is not imposing. I mean... So I could go to another planet, I can initiate living organisms on that planet, and somehow I can wash my hands like Pompous Pilate or something. Yeah, right? It's not my fault. I didn't let it happen. I didn't make it happen. Yeah, no, don't put my name on it. What the hell is this shit?
YouTube antinatalists have decided their coming into being was an imposition. Characteristically, they seek to...
Well, what? So it's not a cause and effect universe then, right? Okay, so we're not going to blame things in the chain of events that takes place. And so if there's something that is a obvious link in the chain of events, there can't be anything that goes off that branch of the tree of life, okay, unless something makes the branch happen, okay? And so... Let's just, but no, we can't do that, okay? Everything just happens because it happens. And this is what intelligent human beings do. This is how they rationalize their way out of accountability or responsibility. No, they didn't somehow vote for it. Even though they did it deliberately, they didn't vote for it. I mean, it's just amazing evasion. Do you know what evasion is? Will you concretize evasion and point out how you're not being evasive? That you're not just evading responsibility for a conscious decision to say, I assign risk to somebody else for my purposes. For my purposes, I will assign risk to them. And you're going to say some way you're going to avoid, you know what accountability is? Do you know what that word means? Can you concretize that for me? I mean, bull fucking shit. Amazing evasion.
Universalize this complaint, given that I did not exist pre-birth and did not even have the potentiality to possess the cognitive structure.
Oh, duh. I didn't exist when I was 2 even, okay? The I that is a consciously aware being, right, did not exist. A being capable of even making a judgment didn't exist until I was at least 5 or 6. And I could sort of get the smell of it. And say, wait a minute, this doesn't smell right. Okay, so then I started concretizing. And I realized, well, how did I get here? Oh, that's right, I came out of a vagina. Well, how did I get in the vagina? Oh, that's right, I was deliberately put in there. Because somebody decided to impose and assign a risk on me to serve their purposes. But that's not imposing. No, it's not imposing. It's doing... It's causing, it's making, it's creating, procreating, but somehow it's not imposing. Amazing.
For a violation of consent, it would strike me as utterly disingenuous.
Yeah, it's utterly disingenuous to take away the fact that this is a dilemma of the circumstance. It's a fact of the circumstance that you don't get consent. Okay, that things arrive here, that their consciousness develops, and they are not asked ahead of time, do you want to smell what we are cooking? No, you're just stuck with the fucking stink of it. You fucking lousy, stinking, unaccountable cunt. I mean, I can't believe you can intellectualize this, and this is the definition of what human beings do with their fucking brains. They rationalize goddamn excuses. They evade goddamn English, perfectly good English words, to rationalize their behavior. So I shouldn't get angry. Like I said, this is the definition of goddamn victory. If this is your resort, this is your goddamn resort. You can't sit there and just say, we think life is super cool. Okay, yeah, we don't have any proof of it. We can't prove that it's sufficiently efficient, but we're going to impose it anyway because we feel like it. You can't be man up. You can't ball up and just say that. Instead, you got to fucking pervert the English language, destroy language and communication altogether, to sit there and rationalize your fucking evasions. Conference report.
Anti-natalist lamentation. Even if I came to the conclusion that the continuing...
I'm not lamentating, asshole. I'm directly accusing you, fucking cunt. Alright? You're unaccountable, unethical imposers. You're no better than slave owners. You're no better than animal torturers. Okay? You don't give a fuck about the thing you're abusing to serve your deluded, silly, stupid purpose. Your selfish fucking purpose.
Of existence was a dreadful mistake. This lament would ring hollow.
Yeah, the accusation that you're just selfish, insensitive cunts who will take what it is you want and you don't give a fuck who you impose on. You don't give a fuck what they experience. You don't have any sense of accountability, and you don't have the fucking balls to even admit what you are goddamn fucking doing. It's an accusation, shithead, not a lament, fucknut.
More relevantly, anti-natalists, or perhaps more accurately, ethalists, are perfectly willing, in theory, as their normative system only exists on the fringes of civilization, to impose their values, their ethical system.
Yes, that's right, because we've described it as what it is, okay? We are willing to impose on the imposers. That's right, we're willing to stop the imposition. All right, just as many good men, good and true men of history have fought evil in the past. Okay, evil bastards, selfish bastards who would abuse other human beings without their consent, who would steal their future and their welfare. All right, yeah, that's right. So what's wrong with that? Oh, that's right. The only thing wrong with that is the fact that you don't believe it's a just cause. That's the only evil here, right? So it's just playing more word games, right? It's a terrorist or a genocidal lunatic or a maniac or a murderer, unless he's on your side. Is that how it works, fucking intellectual? Oh, another rational fuckingization. That's right. That's all you're full of is rational fuckingizations, right? You have no integrity or character. You just throw your accusations on the superficial, just obviously duplicitous. Obviously duplicitous.
On those outside their normative belief structure, undoing the supposed imposition of being.
No, undoing the imposition, okay, of not having a good excuse and not manning up to what you're doing. Again, all right, the argument is you're not only that you're imposing, but that you're imposing with nothing, with evasions, with goddamn dishonest evasions.
Either via the imposition of non-existence on existers in principle, through the direct murder of the human race by a theoretical...
Yeah, whatever. So this is another way you conjure an argument, all right, is to take it to the ultimate extreme, all right, where the argument is that, look, we just want people to do what 80% of people are already doing. 80% of people are already acting like anti-natalists. We just want to drag the other 20% into that category, and then we're all perfectly fucking happy. All right, the fact that there's theoretically an argument that, if I could press a button and prevent the Civil War and just kill all the slave owners by pressing a button, I'd press the fucking button. That's right, there's resolutions that we would all choose that would be draconian in the short term, but would have been beneficial in the long term. Dumb fucknut. Okay, they're perfectly rational choices in those circumstances. So would you call somebody who would draconianly press a button before World War II and kill a certain percentage of Asian males and a certain percentage of German males so they couldn't fight in a war? Would you call them Hitleresque, ironically? Would you call them horrible individuals for pressing that button? Even though it would have, in a practical fact, maybe saved 30 million people from dying at the hands of those soldiers? Fucking asshole. So again, it's just duplicity, right? Because if it's for your fucking values, if it's in defense of your shit for brain bullshit, then all of a sudden it's an honorable cause. But if it's not your cause, it's not an honorable cause. Is that how it works, fucker? Is that how it works, Mr. Intellectual? Mr. fucking... Let's see how many fucking words in one sentence I can put in here that nobody fucking understands. Fuck you, you pompous, arrogant, elitist cunt shit. Yellow's your color.
Machine, or indirectly imposing a state of affairs absent human consciousness via forced sterilization, imprisonment, and or exemplifying.
Right. The same kind of draconian... The draconian fucking laws that we have right now against certain behaviors, okay? Certain violations of a woman. In other countries, they don't have those kind of penalties, okay, for that behavior. Throughout history, it's been okay to have sex with 12-year-olds. How come all of a sudden it's not? How come now you spend 20 years in prison? You want to play stupid games like this? Yeah, there's lots of things. Our values change, we decide that something's not legal. That's right, and there's a consequence when you violate the law. No one said the consequence gets imposed without the fucking law. So again, just pervert and distort for a purpose. This know what the word for that is, Mr. Intellectual? Know what the word for that is? It's called propaganda. You're nothing but a cheap, petty propagandist. You don't have the balls to have a real argument about this value system shit for brains. Pussy.
Style, state-sponsored brainwashing. Descriptively,
you shouldn't even use the word brainwashing, right? Because, yeah, it's only all over the face of mankind, is it not?
Of the word imposition does not stem so much from viable philosophical thinking.
Oh yeah, right. Again, so this again, I should just celebrate victory, right? I mean, when intellectuals have to resort to this kind of preposterous argumentation that creating is not imposing. I mean, when they have to break language so catastrophically to evade their accountability, or to evade even rational consistency, because they know what rational consistency would mean is that they would have to be accountable for what they're preaching. I mean, just a fucking goddamn amazing. Creating is now not imposing. Amazing.
But relative to the coming into being of a human being is so utilized by the YouTube F-list as an emotive ploy. Clearly an imposition is not the issue here. The complaint that life is an imposition is superfluous relative to the ethical contention that human reproduction is wrong.
I'm afraid not. I just don't really see how the argument for reproduction would be made. No one's going to be against reproduction if there wasn't an element of imposition, you dumb fuck. If there wasn't some sort of negative consequence that happens without consent, there wouldn't be an argument here. If everybody just said, yes, I want to play the dumb life game, okay, they were informed ahead of time, were educated, and then they said, yes, let's play the stupid life game, then we wouldn't have an argument, would we, shithead? Oh, yeah, that's right, shithead. I mean, there still might be an argument that you're all deluded psychotics. I mean, I'd still want you all to be examined psychiatrically. You all need to look at some ink blots and see what the fuck's going on in your distorted, sick brains.
A bullshit attempt at meme proliferation. Another shoddy attempt at meme proliferation.
Oh, this isn't shoddy. Look at this crap. You can't even do the video straight up. I mean, really, what the fuck? You know, I gotta turn the camera sideways? And you're gonna do like shoddy?
As the proposition that life is suffering. As a matter of self-relational introspection and per interpersonal report.
Oh, well, guess what? Guess where all that crap started from, okay? The jackass known as Conference Report, I think, was the guy who started that shit, bringing up Buddha crap. Okay, but this whole Buddha crap isn't the crap of anti-natalists, or it isn't the crap of certainly of ethalists, okay? We're not the ones going around doing this Buddha crap, okay? But the fact is that you're going to suffer if you live, okay? But this idea that life is suffering, well, fuck that stupid shit.
This is a flatly false contention, at worst a blatant lie, at best semantic laziness. Life is a necessary and contingently sufficient condition.
Life is a necessary and sufficiently what? Let's play that again. Life is a necessary condition? How is it necessary? What rock is that written on? What God tablet did you pull that off of? I don't hear an answer.
A flatly false contention, at worst a blatant lie, at best semantic laziness. Life is a necessary and contingently sufficient condition of suffering.
Life is a sufficient contingent condition of suffering. Now, I don't even understand. Yes, suffering can't exist if life doesn't exist. Okay, I got that part. Yeah, say it this backward way as possible.
Does not thereby follow that life is suffering.
Well, guess what? Again, so you're not arguing with ethalists. You're arguing with some other people who want to do this life is suffering Buddha crap, okay? That's Antikantavad, or that's Conference Report, or To Be Serious, or some other Looney Tune. All right, but it's not something you got out of my fucking mouth, jackass.
We non-ethalists are subject to these lazy, half-assed, shoddy propositions.
Yeah, again, half-assed, lazy, shoddy propositions. My propositions are pretty renowned. People have been reciting them over and over again. Consumption, reproduction, cannibalism, addiction, zero-sum game, unintelligent design, insufficiently efficient, imposition. Yeah, these are my fucking words, jackass. Nowhere in there is any kind of life is suffering bullshit. Even though it is.
Pulled from the better never to have been assholes of YouTube ethalists ad nauseum.
Again, that's just an overt lie, okay? Overt lie. Who? Zombie Picture Show? He might have said that shit, okay? But the ethalists don't even think he's an ethalist. So where else you getting this from, fella? Where are you getting it from?
Thomas Ligotti spews the truth apt claim that the world is malignantly useless. A claim it is far more realistic to believe is the product of a historically bound...
Oh yeah, no, it's even more obvious is just how unmissed the Martians are, and the Venetians are, and the Saturnites are, and the Plutonians, and the Moonicans, and the Mercuryites. Yeah, that's also quite obvious, is their uselessness, their lack of, somehow we never sit there and we'll have no half-staff flags for them at all. Nothing whatsoever, not even any acknowledgement of the sorrow and pitifulness of their absence. Yeah, that's a kind of a glaring little piece of evidence that maybe we're just as fucking goddamn meaningless. Unmissable.
Contingently existent neuronal structure and serotonin deficient central nervous system than, as the claim is empirically unfalsifiable and non-tautological, some transperspectival metaphysical truth about the
some spectacle? What the fuck is this crap?
World. I have far more reason to suspect Ligotti is malignantly useless than the world. Sum total, he can fuck off with his pessimism transformed.
Oh, that's a really brilliant counter-argument. I say the world isn't a pile of shit. Period. There. Is that proof enough? I said so. Isn't that all us intellectuals have to do? Is we just have to say, I say that's not correct.
One ethicist describes human beings as cockroaches. If this individual's purpose on YouTube is, in part, to make a persuasive case through the supposed rational argumentation for ethilism, and her description of human beings is accurate, then I'd like to inform her she's wasting her time.
Oh, gee, she just needs to know that from you. Yes, yes, you're the authority on what is a waste of time. Oh, I didn't, we all should have known that ahead of time. Whatever. You want to get to the point, you're going to make some counter argument that human beings aren't fundamentally doing the same thing that cockroaches are doing, which is eating and shitting and trying to figure out how to steal some cockroach pussy from their best friend's wife.
Does a cockroach respond to rational argumentation?
Oh, that's the standard now? So that means something? That's something more than eating cotton candy? Yeah, responding to rational argumentation. You just broke rational argumentation. You nuked it into a million little pieces when you decided that creating something, causing it, is not an imposition because it doesn't start with the right letter.
Now, surely, with the understanding that said contention is grounded in metaphor, well, does a metaphoric cockroach respond to rational argumentation? The general description of...
Oh, well, once again, so wait, just get to your point. So your argument is that what human beings are accomplishing isn't about how they feel, okay? Whether their penis is happy or their penis is unhappy, or whether their belly's full or their belly's not full. That the basic organism isn't just chasing satisfaction of desire and comfort needs. That there's some other mechanism involved. The fact that we have a little bit more convolutes in our thinking, our reflexes are a little more slow in the sense that stuff bounces around and we have what we call pretentious thoughts before we stick our willy in the vagina. Does it really make that big a difference? Isn't the game still the same game, retard? Duh. Yeah, argue your way out of that, fucknut.
Man propagated by Ephesus, man as cockroach, man as addict, etc., precludes the societally relevant adoption of the ethical system being offered for adoption.
Oh, the ethical system being offered for adoption. The socially ethical what? So what is this? So what is that translated? What the fuck does that mean? Society has already declared itself super cool. So therefore, any opinions that society isn't super cool are irrelevant because society says it's super cool. Yeah, right. Okay, sure.
The irony is amusing. Ethicists pull a bait and switch regarding their pessimism about man when it comes to their pet issue of ensuring non-suffering via ensuring the non-existence of sentience. At least Thomas Ligotti extends...
Again, why do I have to account for Thomas Ligotti's opinion? You can't just get to the point, please? You want to get to a point here somewhere?
His pessimism to the bitter end, and ends his book, The Conspiracy Against the Human Race, acknowledging the futility of ethicalism by way of pragmatic adoption.
Or whatever that means. So because he's a nihilist, we all have to be nihilists? Because he gives up, everybody else has to give up? So that's your argument? Well, my argument to you is get your head out of your ass. Okay, smell the duty, buddy.
Another contention incessantly leveled at us is the claim that God does not exist. What's the implication here? That if God existed, it would then be morally permissible to have children?
No, the argument is if an intelligence created the universe, the intelligence would likely have a purpose, okay? Now, if you want to say God is just another desire machine, that God is just some sort of other thing, some replicating animal from some other planet, an animal who just acts on his desires and passions, and he doesn't do anything for good reason, intelligent reasons. So he wants to have little humans merely because he's the big God, and he wants to have little humans to play with, or little humans that look like him, or some other kind of bullshit. All right, the argument is yes, if God is a psychotic, well then it's stupid, okay? That's not, that's just as bad as the no God at all. All right, but the argument is if there was a real God, one that was really smart, then there would be some sort of redeeming function here. There would be some kind of purpose. Retard. Because intelligent things don't do stupid things unless they have some overwhelming, crappy, shitty, selfish, ego-driven desire to be an asshole.
These ethalists remind me of the 5-year-old who just learned that Santa Claus wasn't real.
Yeah, and then they might say, well, goddamn, I wonder what else they've been lying to me about. Wouldn't that be the reaction of the 5-year-old? Yeah, the 5-year-old finds out there's no Santa Claus. Oh, you mean there's no rabbit either? You mean all this bullshit you've been saying is a bunch of crap? Well, what about the silver lining? Do the clouds all have silver linings? Fucking asshole. Is Mother Nature really a nice woman, or is she a skanky fucking whore?
Even this claim often proceeds presuppositionally, and when challenged, the YouTube atheist typically defaults to a bland status quo positivism or an infinitely regressive evidentialism. It's an absolute affront to philosophy to thusly proceed.
No, this is an affront to philosophy, is to fucking argue with jackasses who got themselves upside down for no good fucking reason. But regardless, what's the counter argument here? Okay, the fact is that human civilization has grown up sucking on a poison bottle of religious bullshit. And now that we know the religious bullshit is bullshit, we're stuck with this truth that we are just the product of this replicating molecule through 4 billion years of carnage evolution. A gladiator fucking goddamn war. No justice, no honor, no integrity, no decent rules, no umpires, no civilized game here whatsoever. This isn't baseball or goddamn soccer or the goddamn fucking Olympics. That's not what nature does, you stupid shit. Nature gives gold medals to motherfucking cunts and assholes and malicious bastards. That's how nature works. It's not a nice game. It's not a good game. It's a stupid, motherfucking ignorant game, you dumb fuck. And you're sitting there glorifying it and defending it. Why? Because it exists. No other fucking reason, you stupid turd.
We, and I mean to signify the most universal sense of the word, have only recently, relative to the diachronic world stage, come to understand and postulate the order of being as absent transcendence and teleology.
Oh, what the fuck ever? I mean, really, who the fuck talks like this? But pompous, arrogant, ivory tower, loony fucking goddamn tunes.
Embracing epistemological and ontological fallibilism, I find agnosticism more philosophically respectable.
Oh, well, gee, so he's an agnostic. So he can't, because we can't prove Bugs Bunny's not president of Mongolia, you know, or something like that, then, oh, well, we have to leave that open as a possibility. I have to be agnostic on the fact that Bugs Bunny fucked Daffy Duck and they gave birth to Mickey Mouse. There's the theory. We can't know for sure that's not the truth. It could be the truth. We have to be agnostic on it because somebody made it up. We have to be agnostic on the story because maybe what they made up is right. Even though we know they made it the fuck up, it doesn't matter. It could be the truth. So we can't say it's false because it could be the truth, and so anything we can't disprove, any crazy, wacky, stupid, idiotic crap that flies out of somebody's mouth has to be agnostic on it because why? Because you're fucking idiots. Overeducated assholes.
Than the inane ramblings of the dyed-in-wool atheist or anti-theist, but I digress.
No, you don't digress, you regress. Okay? You insult intelligence, you fucking goddamn putrid pile of shit. That's what you've done. You've taken a putrid pile of shit right on human intelligence with this nonsense.
It is claimed that nature is broken. Again, the entirely contextual value judgment of the ethicist, or a transhistorical, transperspectival, metaphysical truth about nature, I'll opt for the former.
Yes, and the brokenness is articulated in a statement like it is insufficiently efficient. And the value equation being used to describe the efficiency is a balancing of this thing called deprivation, okay, which is not necessarily a good thing, that manifests in the form of conditioned and sort of erroneous often attachments, needs, and dependencies that, when satisfied, create the illusion of, oh, we're accomplishing something because we're rising out of the basement. Okay, so yes, there's positive distance being accomplished because we're rising out of a deficit, but the deficit is unsurmountable. The human condition is blighted by this thing called dissatisfaction. It's paramount. It is fundamental. It is quite obvious by just measuring the health indexes of the human race. Alcoholism, how many people are on some sort of psychiatric drug because they can't handle life. So again, this is a failed argument. I haven't even touched on the subject of ALS and elephant man disease and all the other blights and horrors that people are imposed upon, or imposed upon them.
And Jim Crawford claims that the school playground is a Darwinian trial, the pretentious universalization of the experience of an ethicist or some universally experienced truth. This shit goes on ad infinitum.
Well, whatever that shit was. I mean, really, who listens to this? Who the fuck thinks this is the way you make an argument in human society? This is disgusting. I mean, you can't come close to being any more of a goddamn elitist motherfucking cunt than this.
And then we come to the shining jewel of ethicists everywhere. Benatar's asymmetry. Finally, a truth as sound as the law of non-contradiction, or the excluded middle, or identity. I'm just fucking with you, really. To proceed from pain is bad, pleasure is good, absent pain is good, even absent an existor, and absent pleasure is not bad, absent an existor too.
Yeah, okay, but just ignore the fact that he wrote a whole book, and if you really read the book, you get the idea and you'll understand that it's not the absence of an existor. The word prevention is the key notion, okay? It's a prevented harm. Obviously, a harm that would not have happened is not prevented, okay? If you're not preventing something that would possibly or would likely happen, then you can gain no value from preventing something that wouldn't have been. So you have to make it a would have been to make it something to avoid and therefore something of value. So duh. I mean, but really, so play your word games, though, because that's all you goddamn have is word games. Just keep pretending that the people who will exist theoretically don't exist because you never account for their creation. Jeez, weasels.
Therefore, the human race should go extinct. It's only accomplished by an act of magic that would put Merlin himself to shame.
Well, whatever. An act of magic makes it rational, or an act of magic means that most people are already there, dumb fuck. Most people are already reproducing at a rate insufficient to maintain human existence. Most people are already reproducing at a rate insufficient to maintain human existence. Most people are already replicating at a rate insufficient to maintain human existence.
Even if the premises are granted, the conclusion does not follow. The reason for this is that the good and bad in life, that is, qua this meta-ethical hedonism, the pain and pleasure, can be better than the good and not bad of non-existence. That is...
I mean, is there any place to go with this? That you don't measure them as two things, like you have good and bad in existence and non-existence. Obviously, in non-existence, you don't have any good or bad. The whole point is preventing a good or preventing a bad, you stupid fuck. And the point is that a prevented good, okay, is irrelevant, is zero, because there's no need. Without a need, there can be no deprivation. There can be no requirement to satisfy the need, you stupid shit. Okay, and that's all you got left then is the potential negative. Then that still has value because obviously if you prevent it, it's a good thing.
The absence of pleasure and the absence of pain. I've yet to see an ethicist argument to the contrary, but the Holy Grail.
No, well, I guess you just don't pay any attention. Isn't that the truth of it? Why don't you play one of their videos? So let them say it right to your goddamn face. Why don't you respond to an ethicist video and try to make some kind of convoluted, idiotic argument like this? Why don't you engage in the conversation, you fucking weasel?
Of shoddy ethicist presuppositionalism is that we, speaking in a morally normative manner, should embrace metaethical hedonism in the first place.
Well, whatever. I mean, you want to call it, again, this perversion of words, all right? So my entire life, the word hedonism has been clearly associated. Go do a Google search, a Google image search on hedonism, all right? No problem. I already did it. I showed everybody what's there. What's there is girls in their goddamn panties. Okay, 9,999 results to 1. Okay, that's all. That's what hedonism is. Okay, nobody's nuts in a vice, no nothing else, just girls in their goddamn panties. So don't pretend that this word hedonism has something to do with rational value equations or any kind of ethical questions. It has to do with one goddamn thing. It's all about satisfying desire, shithead. That's what hedonism is, all right? So again, pervert the language, destroy the meaning of goddamn words to rationalize your way out of the argument.
Or that the prevention of suffering, among myriad other possible moral goals, should be our exclusive and prime value.
No, well, the prime, exclusive and prime. See, now you use two different words to describe the same thing that have completely different meanings, right? Yeah, that's right. We're saying that the pain, the negative, has much more potential, okay, in terms of its weight, its value weight, than the superficial gratifications of our deprivations. When you satisfy your desires and deprivations, you're already satisfying a negative condition inside of you. You've essentially already used up the positive value in that you have been relieved of your own deprivation. It doesn't have any value weight to go compensate for somebody else's migraine headache. Retard.
This shit proceeds ad infinitum. Now, Indifferent Sky and I engaged in a bit of an exchange in the text of an ethicist video in the text section there. And what I pointed out was that often the ethicist proceeds as if the burden of proof is on the non-ethicist to establish the non-truth of ethicism.
Well, the argument being made is that this is the first imposition. Creation is the first imposition. If a God had made the world by breathing life into the dust, into Adam and Eve, there are plenty of people, even right now, who say he has to account for his behavior. Plenty of atheists are arguing with religion and saying, well, let's have God account for his creation, account for the suffering, account for the pain, account for what it has cost his creation, the brilliance of it. So again, you will have evaded your responsibility by just sitting there saying, I'm going to apply a double standard. I'm going to evade cause and effect. I'm going to claim I didn't do anything when I created. Bullshit.
You see. And they don't get a free pass on their axioms, presuppositions, or contentions.
Well, the free passes is none of you assholes make a rational argument about how evolution is about something other than gladiator war. What's your explanation? symbiotic relationships. Yeah, you do that crap a lot, but we know they're all parasitic if you do any biological science whatsoever. If you're at all true to the science.
Theirs is by default the true position. So Indifferent Sky says, well, if someone says these are my ethics and you don't agree, you should state why you're wrong. Or you should state why. Your wrong is not the default. You see, she has it exactly backwards.
Right. The imposers don't have to justify their imposition. Exactly. So you're the ones evading your first cause. I have to explain why I have to fight a cause that you're saying isn't a first cause. Creation is the first cause. I don't have to explain why I'm stopping it. You have to explain why you're perpetuating it.
Than God, and you should too. It's not up to the atheist to have to justify their atheism. First, the proposition being put forth by the theist needs establishing before refutation can proceed. See, she's trying to short circuit here. And she...
Well, she's not. She's also saying that, look, we'll give you plenty of evidence why creation is shit. All right, now you explain why you have a right to impose. You explain why you have a right to draw straws unconsensually and impose your optimism on a future of sentience. Why? Why should you do that? What purpose does it serve? And if all you have are selfish purposes, well, now an ethical claim can be made that you're using other beings to satisfy your needs, that you're essentially molesting the future to satisfy your personal problem.
He's not saying these are my ethics and you don't... these are my ethics, and if you don't agree, you should state why you're wrong, or why... You should say why your wrong is not the default. She's saying these are my ethics and they should be yours too. She hasn't established any normative truth here.
Well, whatever. Did anybody else follow that? Sorry, no sale. All right, she'll make the argument to you, and then she's going to say to you, well, here's the argument against life, just like somebody arguing nuclear power. And somebody could say, this is the reason why the risk is too high, okay? Because the capitalism thing never works. They always cut a corner somewhere, and the damn thing's going to melt down. So these are the arguments why human beings really you can't give them this power. These are the reasons. We could explain why we have a law against people owning bazookas. We could just explain, well, this is the reliable index here, okay? If you give it to 1 million people, probably about 5,000 of those people are going to use them to blow their ex-wife up. And so, yeah, you can't really let them have the power. Now you explain why you should give them the power, why you should impose life on victims who will get ALS. They will be born with lives they don't wish to live. They will eventually have to kill themselves to get free of the crap that you imposed on them, the dirty nest you laid your fucking eggs in.
You see, she proceeds like the fundamentalist does, the presuppositionalist fundamentalist, or the Reformed theology Christian, if you will. And then regarding Terry...
No, I'm sorry. You're the religious nuts, okay? You're just like God. You're saying, I didn't do it. Yeah, fuck you. Now he's going to bring up Terry Schiavo?
I think I'll leave with this.
Oh, please.
I mentioned Terry Schiavo because I call into question an empathy that would reduce the human race to a giant Terry Schiavo to be euthanized, right? There is a qualitative difference between Terry Schiavo and a rational, autonomous entity capable of engaging in philosophic reasoning and so on and so forth, right? There's definitely a qualitative difference. So I'm not against euthanasia. That would be silly. And for her to lump me in with the, quote, religious nut jobs is an affront to decency. But here are her words, and I'll end here. She says, can you objectively prove that the human race is not one giant Terry Schiavo? No, you can't, because it's a perspective.
I don't know why it's funny to you. But whatever. So this is your argument against ephilism is one person's argument where they use Terry Schiavo as an example I don't even know if it's an example, right? I mean, Terry Schiavo, theoretically, all right, if it wasn't a waste of resources, if it wasn't a waste of money that you could spend on some poor person somewhere else who needs comfort, Terry Schiavo is sort of irrelevant, right? It's not in pain, it's not suffering, so why does it matter? It doesn't matter. So life isn't a Terry Schiavo. Life is a fucking kid in a cancer ward. That's what life is. And on the other side, life is some silly person going yum yum eating a cupcake. That's life. Those two things placed together. And what I'm saying is when you mix those two things together, when you swirl them together, you're not going to get yum yum cupcake in the end. You're going to get something that looks like puke or shit.
Now, external to the insanity of this line of this absurdity, I don't even know how to respond hardly. One can just as very well easily retort, well, can you objectively prove the normatively factual basis of ephilism? I've yet to see it. Thanks for chiming in.
Oh, that's an answer? Yeah, I can prove it. What do you want? You want to prove evolution? Easily done. As a fact, that it's a replicating molecule, that it's gladiator wars, 4 billion years of stupid and superficial modifications that mostly have to do with stealing sunlight. Yeah, I can do that. You want proof of that? I can prove that. I can prove you're an addicted, basically just a fucking a psychology that's owned an intellect. Then now the intellect is rationalizing desperately to save the ego of the fucking psychology. Yeah, I can probably demonstrate even that you're not even a fucking intellect anymore. You're just owned by your goddamn psychology, by your fucking ego bullshit, by the things you're attached to, you fat fucking pig. And that's it. You're just a big fat slug, all right? Taking, period. Nothing else. You just slug along, leave a trail of slime behind you, okay, looking for your next fucking ego meal. Period. Yeah. Enough said.